Now, before we start digging into the actual workflows that optimize economic flow, I owe you an explanation of how the economics work in the first place. You may recognize this economic batch size equation that is kind of a generic one, where there is a clear trade-off between cost of delay and transaction costs. Now, what you'll notice, the total cost curve, of course, has this U-curve optimization. And our Scrum process and our Kanban process are continuously attempting to drive back down the size of our build effort towards this flat bottom where things are cheapest in terms of both cost of delay and transaction costs. Up here you can see there's epics. Epics have lower transaction costs due to economies of scale, but higher cost of delay because your time to market takes much longer. And if we even scaled up to themes, however long those might take, if there were multiple epics, that could potentially be an even longer time with higher cost of delay, no matter what the transaction costs are. So what you'll see as we start to look at the flow of the economics here is we want to do as much work as we can at the story level, but not ignore the potential for epic level work, separate from the story level, and theme level work, which takes advantage of lower transaction costs, but doesn't impact the cost of delay that we get by using smaller sizes like stories. Now, the very clear message I hope you hear within all of that is that even if you use themes, epics, and stories, you still want to deliver stories as early as possible without waiting for the epic to be completed. You want to deliver the epics as early as possible without the entire theme being completed. To do that, you have to plan it that way to make sure that your roadmap starts with an MVP and is able to roll out additional investment efforts in an incremental fashion. So what you can see here is, based on these economics, I've divided this into 4 different time cycles. At the base, you have the build cycle, in which we want to deliver new feature development in increments as quickly to market as possible. The innovation cycle, in which we account for innovation and learning as we signal the market to gain information. The investment cycle, in which we make decisions about how to spend increments of money on a potentially quarterly basis. And the funding cycle, which allows multiple stakeholders to collaborate in a shared economic framework for how they can fund multi-system solutions.